He was promised protection, not imprisonment. A gentle farmer's son was forced into marriage with the king's cruel heir. The prince didn't want him. The kingdom didn't accept him. And love was never part of the contract. But obsession is dangerous. Jealousy turns into possession. And sometimes the man meant to cage you is the only one willing to burn the world to keep you safe. This is not a love story. This is the story of survival and the choice to stay. Chapter 1. The Boy the Fields Raised. The kingdom of Ironthal did not belong to gentle things. It was built on stone walls and sharpened steel, on crowns weighed down by bloodlines and expectation. Power ruled here, and softness was something crushed early, if it survived at all. Which was why Lion never quite fit into the world he was born into. He was the kind of boy the earth itself seemed to love. Wheat bent when he passed. Animals followed him without fear. Even the wind softened when it brushed against his dark hair and pale face. His hands were slender but strong enough to work the fields from dawn to dusk, skin marked with honest labor rather than luxury. He lived with his father, Rowan, on a small stretch of farmland just beyond the capital's reach. They owned no servants, no guards, no influence, but they had warmth. And once, long ago, they had a king. Lian barely remembered the day it began. He had been 7, chasing a stubborn lamb through the fields, laughing breathlessly, when he collided with a stranger dressed in travel-worn clothes. The man had fallen hard into the dirt, and Lian, horrified, had immediately burst into tears. "I'm sorry, I didn't see you," he had cried. The stranger had stared at him for a long moment, then laughed. Not a cruel laugh, a surprised one. Rowan had rushed over, panic written across his face, and had frozen when he recognized the man he had helped weeks earlier during the famine. The king of Ironthal. Albrecht had waved away Rowan's fear, and sat with them that evening, eating simple bread and stew at a wooden table. He had listened as Rowan spoke about soil and seasons, about loss and survival. He had watched Lion carefully, quietly. Before he left, the king had crouched before Lion and said something that would echo through Lion's life, like a ghost. "The world is not kind to gentle hearts," Albrecht had said, "but I will make sure you are never alone in it." Lian had smiled, not understanding. Rowan had bowed, gratitude heavy in his eyes. That promise was meant as kindness. Years later, it would become a chain. Rowan died on a winter morning, when the frost clung too tightly to the ground. Lion woke to silence. Not the peaceful kind, the wrong kind. His father lay still in bed, face calm, hands folded as if already prepared for burial. Lian had shaken him until his arms ached, whispering "Father" over and over, his voice breaking apart with every breath. By nightfall, the house felt hollow. By dawn, Lion felt older. The funeral was small. Neighbors came. Villagers bowed their heads. Snow fell softly, as if mourning with him. Then the royal carriage arrived. The sight of it made the crowd fall silent. King Albrecht stepped down alone, no crown, no guards visible. He knelt by Rowan's grave and pressed his forehead to the frozen earth. "I am sorry," he said quietly. Lion stood beside him, numb. The king placed his cloak over Lion's shoulders the same way he had years ago. "You are not alone," he said again. "Come with me." Lion believed him. That was his first mistake. The palace was too large. Its halls swallowed sound. Its walls watched. Lion was given rooms finer than anything he had known, but he slept poorly. He missed the creak of wood, the smell of soil, his father's steady breathing in the next room. He wandered the gardens, fingers brushing leaves, grounding himself in green. That was where he first saw Prince Cassian. Cassian stood beneath a stone arch, tall and immovable, dressed in black and silver. His posture was rigid, his expression sharp, eyes like cut glass. He looked nothing like kindness. Cassian looked at Lion the way one might look at something inconvenient. "So," the prince said, "you're the farmer's son." Lian bowed instinctively. "Yes, your highness." Cassian's gaze lingered, cool and assessing. "You don't belong here." Lion swallowed. "I know." Cassian turned away without another word. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. Weeks passed. Lian was treated politely, distantly. No one explained why he was there. The king was busy. Court life moved around him like a current he could not grasp. Then the clothes arrived. Silk dot, white and gold. Ceremonial. Lian stared at them, heart pounding. "Why?" he asked the servant. The servant wouldn't meet his eyes. The truth came only when the king himself arrived. "I promised your father," Albrecht said softly, "and I intend to keep that promise." Lian's chest tightened. Promise?" "I said I would see you married to someone who could protect you." Lian stepped back. "I never asked for that." The king's expression hardened, not cruel, but resolute. "Protection is not always chosen," he said. "Sometimes it is imposed." "No," Lian whispered. "Please." But kings did not beg. Cassian did not attend the fitting. He did not attend the announcement. He attended only the wedding. When Lian saw him at the altar, face unreadable, jaw clenched, his knees nearly gave out. "This is wrong," Lian said under his breath. Cassian's voice was low, cold. "Don't embarrass me. I don't want this." Cassian leaned closer, eyes dark. "Neither do I." The vows were spoken. The ring was placed. The crown had chosen. That night, Lian cried silently in the marital chambers, while Cassian stood at the window, back turned, arms crossed as if guarding himself from contamination. "Do not touch me," Cassian said flatly. "I won't," Lian whispered, not because he was afraid, but because he was already breaking, and thus began a marriage built not on love, but on possession, resentment, and a cruelty that would cut far deeper than Lian could yet imagine. Chapter 2. The Cage of Silk. The palace learned Lian quickly. It learned the way he walked softly, as if afraid of disturbing the air. It learned how he flinched when voices rose, how he bowed too deeply, apologized too often. It learned that he was not meant for stone walls and whispered politics. And it punished him for it. The first morning after the wedding, Lian woke alone. The bed beside him was untouched, sheets smooth and cold. For one terrible moment he wondered if the night before had been a dream, if he was still the farmer's son sleeping beneath a wooden roof. Then he saw the rings resting on the table. Reality settled in his chest like a weight. He dressed himself slowly, fingers trembling as he fastened unfamiliar buttons. The clothes were beautiful, soft fabric, careful stitching, but they felt wrong, like a costume worn by someone else. When he stepped into the hallway, servants froze. They bowed, eyes lowered, bodies stiff with uncertainty. "My lord," one murmured. The title made Lian's stomach turn. "Please," he said quietly. "You don't have to. Do not speak to them unnecessarily." Cassian's voice cut through the corridor like a blade. Lian turned. The prince stood several paces away, already dressed for court, posture rigid, expression coldly composed. He did not look at Lian, not really. His gaze skimmed past him, as though Lian were an object placed incorrectly in the hall. "You will attend breakfast with me," Cassian said. "You will sit where you are told. You will speak only if spoken to. Did you understand?" Lian swallowed. "Yes." Cassian's eyes flicked to him then, sharp, assessing. "And stop looking like that." "Like What? Leon asked softly. Like you expect kindness, Cassian replied. It will only disappoint you. Breakfast was a lesson in humiliation. They entered the dining hall together, Cassian a step ahead, never beside. Nobles rose, murmuring greetings, eyes gleaming with curiosity. Leon felt their stares like hands, pulling at him, peeling him open. The farmer's son, the prince's unwilling bride. How long until he break? Cassian took his seat at the head of the table. A servant gestured for Lion to sit at his side. Cassian stopped them with a raised hand. No, he said. There. He pointed farther down the table. The distance was deliberate. Lion obeyed without protest, lowering himself into the seat with practiced quiet. He kept his gaze on his plate, appetite gone. When a noble leaned toward him, smiling too pleasantly, Cassian's voice snapped across the table. He is not here to entertain you. The noble laughed awkwardly and leaned back. Leon's heart pounded. Cassian did not look at him once after that. The days that followed settled into a pattern. Cassian controlled everything. Where Lion went, who he spoke to, what he wore. He was never loud about it, never raised his voice. His cruelty was clean, precise, wrapped in silk and authority. You will stay in the East Wing, Cassian said one evening. The West is restricted. Why? Leon asked before he could stop himself. Cassian's eyes narrowed. You do not need reasons. Leon learned quickly to stop asking. But silence did not mean peace. Cassian watched him constantly. From across rooms, from shadows in hallways, from the corner of his eye during court gatherings. It was not concern. It was surveillance. One afternoon, Lion wandered into the library, drawn by the scent of parchment and dust. He had always loved books, though he'd only ever held a few. Here, they towered around him, knowledge stacked to the ceiling. He reached for one reverently. You were not given permission to be here. Cassian's voice was close. Too close. Leon turned, startled. I'm sorry, Cassian took the book from his hands, placing it back with sharp finality. These are not for you. Why? Leon whispered. Cassian leaned in, his shadow swallowing Lion's smaller frame. Because this world devours the gentle, he said quietly. And you are already too visible. Leon's throat tightened. Then why did you marry me? Cassian's jaw clenched. For the same reason you are here, he said. Because choice is an illusion. He stepped away, leaving Lion shaking among the shelves. At night, the distance grew worse. They shared chambers, but not a bed. Cassian slept on a couch by the window, always facing the door, as if guarding against something unseen. Leon lay awake listening to his breathing, steady and controlled. Sometimes Cassian spoke in his sleep, not words. Names. Anger. Fear. Lion learned then that cruelty often grew from something wounded. It did not make it hurt less. The first time Cassian touched him was not gentle. It was not violent either. It was possessive. A court gathering filled the great hall with music and laughter. Leon stood beside Cassian, hands folded, trying to disappear. A young noble approached, eyes kind, voice warm. You look lost, he said softly. Are you enjoying the evening? Leon opened his mouth to answer, and Cassian's hand closed around his wrist. Hard. He is, Cassian said coldly. Aren't you? Leon nodded, breath caught in his chest. Yes. Cassian's grip tightened just enough to remind him it could. The noble retreated quickly. When they were alone again, Lion pulled his hand back, shaking. That hurt, he whispered. Cassian looked at his own hand as if surprised. Then, his expression hardened. You belong to the crown now, he said. "Do not invite attention." "I didn't," Lian said, voice breaking. "I was just being polite." Cassian stepped closer, towering over him. "Your politeness looks like vulnerability," he said. "And vulnerability attracts predators." Lian stared at him, tears burning his eyes. "You treat me like I'm something fragile you need to lock away." Cassian's eyes darkened. "Because you are," he said. "And because if something happens to you, it will be my failure." Lian recoiled. "I'm not an object," he whispered. Cassian said nothing, but his gaze followed Lian long after he walked away. That night, Lian dreamed of fields, of open sky, of his father's laughter. He woke with tears soaking the pillow. Cassian stood at the foot of the bed. Lian gasped, sitting up. "How long have you been?" "Long enough," Cassian said quietly. Something in his voice was different. Not softer, but less sharp. "You cry in your sleep," Cassian added. Lian hugged himself. "I miss my home." Silence stretched. "You are safe here," Cassian said finally. Lian laughed weakly. "I've never felt less free." Cassian turned away. "I did not ask to care," he said. "But the moment the crown placed you in my hands, you became my responsibility." Lian's voice was small. "I don't want to be a responsibility." Cassian paused at the door. "Neither do I," he said. "That is what makes this dangerous." He left without another word. Lian lay back down, heart aching. He did not know it yet, but Cassian's cruelty was already beginning to crack. And when it broke, it would not be gentle. Chapter 3. Bruises You Cannot See. Lian learned the palace's rhythms the way one learns a storm, by watching carefully and bracing for impact. Morning bells, court sessions, meals eaten in silence. Cassian was always there, always watching, but never close. The prince's presence wrapped around Lian like invisible chains. He never shouted, never struck. His cruelty lived in restraint, in what he denied, in the way his gaze followed Lian's every movement as if daring him to step out of line. Lian stopped wondering. He stopped asking. He learned which corridors were forbidden by the subtle narrowing of Cassian's eyes, which conversations ended the moment Cassian's shadow crossed the floor. Even laughter felt dangerous now, too loud, too human. The servants noticed. They grew quieter around Lian, fearful of saying the wrong thing. Some avoided him entirely. Others pitied him, their eyes soft but distant. Kindness, Lian realized, was a liability. The first real fracture came during court. Lian stood at the back of the chamber, hands folded, spine straight as Cassian sat on the raised seat beside the king. The nobles argued loudly about trade routes, border disputes, taxes. It all blurred together until Lian's attention drifted. He didn't notice the young envoy approaching until the man bowed politely. "My lord," the envoy said, voice warm, curious rather than mocking. "I was hoping to speak with you." Lian hesitated. Cassian was deep in discussion, attention seemingly elsewhere. "Yes?" Lian said softly. The envoy smiled. "I've never seen someone look so out of place and yet so calm. It's admirable." Lian flushed. "I don't think I'm admirable." "Humility suits you," the envoy said. That was when the room went cold. Cassian's voice cut through the chamber, sharp as breaking glass. "Get away from him." Every head turned. The envoy stiffened. "Your Highness, I meant no offense." Cassian stood. The sound of his chair scraping against stone echoed like a warning bell. "My husband does not speak to strangers without my permission," Cassian said. "Did you forget your place?" The envoy bowed deeply, face pale. "My apologies." He retreated quickly, eyes never lifting again. The chamber buzzed with whispers. Lion stood frozen. Cassian turned his gaze on him then. Dark, furious, something dangerously close to panic burning beneath the surface. "You," Cassian said quietly. "Come." They didn't speak until they reached the corridor outside Cassian's private study. Cassian slammed the door shut, the sound reverberating through Leah's bones. "What were you thinking?" Cassian demanded. "I wasn't doing anything wrong," Lion said, voice trembling despite his effort to remain calm. "He just spoke to me. And you allowed it." "I didn't know I needed permission to exist," Lion snapped before he could stop himself. The silence that followed was heavy and deadly. Cassian stepped closer. "Do you enjoy being looked at?" he asked. Lion recoiled. "What?" "Do you enjoy it when men smile at you?" Cassian continued. "When they think they can touch what's mine?" "I'm not yours," Lion said, heart pounding. "I'm a person." Cassian's jaw tightened. "You are my responsibility," he said harshly. "And you are dangerously unaware of how people see you." "How do they see me?" Leon demanded. "Like something to own?" Cassian's eyes flickered. "Yes," he said, "and I will not allow it." Leon's chest hurt. "Then why do you do the same?" Cassian froze. The question hung between them, sharp and exposed. "I am not like them," Cassian said finally. "No," Leon whispered. "You're worse, because you don't even pretend to care how much it hurts." Cassian's hand twitched at his side. For a moment, Lion thought he might strike him. Instead, Cassian turned away. "Leave," he said. "Before I forget myself." Leon didn't hesitate. He fled the room, breath tearing from his lungs. That night, Leon didn't eat. He sat by the window staring at the moonlit gardens below, arms wrapped tightly around himself. The palace felt smaller than ever, walls closing in, air thinning. He thought of his father's hands, calloused, warm, of the way Rowan had spoken gently even when angry. This is not protection, Lion thought. This is fear dressed as control. Tears slipped down his cheeks, silent and unstoppable. He didn't hear Cassian enter. "You should be asleep," Cassian said quietly. Leon didn't turn. "Why do you hate me?" Cassian stiffened. "I don't." "Then why does everything you do feel like punishment?" Cassian moved closer, stopping just behind him. "Because if I loosen my grip, even for a moment, you'll disappear." Leon laughed weakly. "I'm disappearing anyway." Cassian said nothing. "You don't trust me," Lion continued. "And you don't trust the world, so you lock me away and call it care." Cassian's voice was low. "You don't understand." "Then explain," Lion said, finally turning. His eyes were red, his expression broken. "Because I can't survive this silence." Cassian looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time. The fear in Lion's eyes struck something deep and buried. "I was raised to believe love is leverage," Cassian said slowly. "That anything precious will be used against you. That doesn't mean you get to hurt me first," Lion said. Cassian's breath hitched. "I don't know how to stop," he admitted. The confession hung heavy between them. Leon's voice softened, exhaustion bleeding through the anger. "Then learn, or let me go." Cassian turned away abruptly. "You are not leaving," he said. "Not while the world is still dangerous." "And what about you?" Leon asked. "Are you dangerous too?" Cassian didn't answer. That silence was louder than any threat. Later that night, Cassian stood alone in the training yard, striking a practice post again and again until his hands bled. He saw Leon's face every time he closed his eyes, hurt, confused, fading. "I am becoming what I hate," Cassian realized. The thought terrified him, because somewhere along the way, possession had turned into fear. and fear was beginning to look too much like love. Chapter 4. When control turns to obsession. Cassian stopped pretending. The restraint he once wrapped around his cruelty began to fray, threads snapping one by one. Where before he watched Lian from a distance, now he stayed close, too close. His presence was constant, suffocating, a shadow that never left. If Lian walked the gardens, Cassian followed. If Lion attended court, Cassian's gaze never left him. If Lion laughed, rare, soft, fragile, Cassian stiffened, eyes darkening as though the sound itself were a threat. The palace noticed. Whispers followed them through corridors like ghosts. The prince had always been cold, but this was different. This was fixation. Lian felt it in every breath. It began with the servants. They were dismissed one by one. The fewer people around you, the safer you'll be, Cassian said calmly, as Lion watched another familiar face bow and leave. They've done nothing wrong, Lion said. They've seen too much, Cassian replied. Seen what? Lian demanded. That I exist? Cassian's jaw tightened. That you matter. Lian stared at him. You don't get to decide who sees me. Cassian's voice dropped. I already have. The breaking point came during the midsummer celebration. Music filled the palace. Lanterns glowed like captured stars. Nobles danced, drank, laughed too loudly. Lion stood beside Cassian, hands folded, heart heavy. A young court musician began to play, a gentle melody that reminded Lion of home. Without thinking, he closed his eyes. For a moment, he felt free. He did not notice the noblewoman watching him, eyes sharp assessing, until she approached. You look lonely, she said kindly. Would you like to dance? Before Lion could respond, Cassian moved. His hand closed around Lia's arm, not bruising, but firm enough to make his breath catch. No, Cassian said. The noblewoman stepped back immediately, startled. Your Highness, I meant no offense. Cassian didn't look at her. His eyes were locked on Lion. You will not dance with anyone, Cassian said. I didn't say yes, Lion replied, voice tight. You don't have to. I said no, Cassian snapped. The music faltered. People stared. Lian's cheeks burned with humiliation. Let go, he whispered. Cassian didn't. Cassian, Lian said more firmly. You're hurting me. Cassian froze. For a heartbeat, Lion thought he would release him. Instead, Cassian leaned close, voice low and shaking. You don't see what they see, he murmured. The way they watch you, the way they think they can have you. I'm not something to be taken, Lion said, eyes wet. Cassian's grip tightened reflexively. I know, he said. That's why I won't let them try. They left the celebration early. The silence in the corridors was heavy, dangerous. Inside their chambers, Cassian finally released Lion's arm. Red marks bloomed where his fingers had been. Lian stared at them, then looked up. This is wrong, he said quietly. You're crossing a line. Cassian paced like a caged animal. If you would just listen. I am listening, Lion said. And all I hear is fear. Cassian stopped. Fear keeps you alive, he said harshly. No, Lian replied. It's killing me. The words struck deeper than Cassian expected. I don't trust anyone around you, Cassian said. Not nobles, not servants, not even the king. Lian's breath hitched. Not even your own father. Cassian's silence was answer enough. You are isolating me, Lion said. You're turning this palace into a prison. Cassian stepped closer. Too close. And if that's the only way to keep you safe? He asked. Lian's voice trembled. Then I'd rather risk the world than live like this. Cassian's eyes darkened with something dangerous. Panic, anger, desperation tangled together. You don't get to choose that, he said. The words fell like a blade. Leon stared at him, stunned. What did you just say? He whispered. Cassian realized too late. His hands curled into fists at his sides. You belong to the crown, he said, and the crown belongs to me. Silence roared. Leon took a step back. I belong to myself, he said. And if you can't see that, then you're not protecting me. Cassian lunged forward. Not to strike, to trap. He braced one hand against the wall beside Lion's head, blocking his escape. His other hand hovered, trembling, inches from Lion's face. For one terrifying moment, Leon thought Cassian might force him, might finally let cruelty become physical. Cassian's breath was ragged. Leon's voice was barely a whisper. Please, don't do this. Something shattered in Cassian's eyes. He recoiled as if burned. What am I becoming? Cassian whispered. He stumbled back, dragging a hand through his hair, horror dawning across his face. I swore I'd never cage someone like this, he said hoarsely. I swore. Lion slid down the wall, knees giving out. I can't breathe, he said softly. Every day I feel like I'm disappearing. Cassian dropped to one knee in front of him, close, but not touching. If I let go, Cassian said, voice breaking, will you leave? Leon looked at him through tears. If you don't, he answered, I will. The truth hit harder than any blade. Cassian bowed his head. The silence that followed was not violent. It was devastated. That night, Cassian did not sleep. He stood by the window until dawn, watching the sky lighten, knowing he stood at the edge of something irreversible. He could tighten his grip, or he could learn how to open his hands. And for the first time he was terrified of his own strength. Chapter 5. Blood on his hands. Cassian tried. That, perhaps, was the cruelest part. After the night he nearly trapped Lion against the wall, something in him recoiled in horror. He kept his distance, not far, never far, but enough that the space between them felt like a wound instead of a cage. He stopped touching Lion. He stopped issuing commands directly. Instead, his control changed shape. Invisible. Quieter. No less dangerous. Leon noticed immediately. Cassian no longer walked beside him, he walked behind. Always behind. Like a guard. Like a threat waiting to be unleashed. You don't have to follow me everywhere, Leon said one morning, exhaustion softening his voice. I do, Cassian replied calmly. Why? Cassian didn't answer. Because if he spoke the truth, that the moment Lion left his sight, Cassian's chest tightened with a fear so violent it bordered on madness. So he stayed silent, and silence hollowed Lion out. Lion began to fade. He smiled less, ate less, spoke only when necessary. The light that once made him noticeable dimmed, replaced by careful neutrality. The servants whispered again. The prince has broken him. Cassian heard them. It made him sick. At night, Cassian sat awake on the couch, watching Lion sleep curled in on himself, shoulders tense even in dreams. I did this, Cassian thought. I took something alive and taught it to be afraid. And still, when Lion so much as spoke to someone else, Cassian's blood burned. The threat came quietly. Too quietly. It began with letters. Unsigned. Slipped beneath doors. Written in careful, venomous script. The crown should not be diluted. The farmer's son is a liability. Accidents happen. Cassian read them alone, hands steady, mind cold. He burned every letter. He told no one, especially not Lion, because fear was his domain. And Cassian would not let it touch Lion again, even if it consumed him instead. The first attempt happened in the garden. Lion was kneeling among the flowers, fingers brushing petals, a small fragile smile on his lips. It was the first Cassian had seen in days. Cassian stood at the edge of the path, watching. Then he sensed it. The shift, the wrongness. A servant moved too quickly. A glint of metal caught the sun. Cassian didn't think. He moved. The blade never reached Lion. Cassian's hand closed around the attacker's wrist with bone-crushing force. The knife fell. Cassian struck, hard, precise, merciless. The man collapsed, gasping. Guards arrived moments later to find Cassian standing over the body, eyes cold, hands red. Leon stared. What happened?" he whispered. Cassian turned to him immediately, panic flaring. "Don't look," Cassian said urgently, stepping in front of him. "Go inside now." Lion didn't move. "Cassian," he said, voice shaking. "Is he dead?" Cassian's jaw tightened. "Yes." The word echoed. Leon's face drained of color. "You killed him," Lion said. "He was going to hurt you," Cassian replied. "I won't allow that." Leon took a step back. Something in his eyes changed, not fear of the dead man, but of Cassian. "I didn't ask you to do that," Lion whispered. Cassian's voice broke. "I would do it again." That night, the palace buzzed with rumors. An assassin, a traitor, a warning. Cassian ignored them all. He stood outside Lia's door, unable to enter. Finally, Lian opened it himself. "Come in," Lian said quietly. Cassian hesitated, then obeyed. They stood facing each other, the distance between them charged and fragile. "You were going to tell me I'm safe," Lian said. "Weren't you?" Cassian nodded once. "And you were going to lie," Lian continued. Cassian closed his eyes. "Yes." Lian's voice trembled. "You think you can protect me by carrying all the darkness alone?" Cassian looked at him. "That is my duty." "No," Lian said. "That's your obsession." The word cut deep. "You're willing to become a monster," Lian said softly. "As long as I never see it." Cassian swallowed hard. "If that's what it takes." Lian stepped closer. "You don't see it," Lian said. "But every time you do this, you push me further away." Cassian's hands shook at his sides. "I don't want your blood," Lian said. "I want your trust." Cassian laughed bitterly. "Trust doesn't stop knives." "But control doesn't stop loneliness," Lian replied. Silence stretched. Then Cassian did something he had never done before. He knelt, right there, in the middle of the room. "If I lose you," Cassian said hoarsely, "I lose everything. I don't know how to love without fear." Lian stared down at him, heart aching. "Then learn," Lian whispered, "or you'll lose me anyway." Cassian bowed his head. For the first time, the crown felt unbearably heavy. That night, Lian reached out, hesitantly, and rested his hand on Cassian's shoulder. Not forgiveness, not yet, but permission to try. Cassian closed his eyes, breathing as if he'd been drowning and had finally reached air. Chapter 6. The Fear of Letting Go. After the blood was cleaned from the garden stones, nothing truly returned to normal. How could it? The palace still stood. The servants still bowed. The king still ruled. But something unseen had shifted, like a crack running through glass, invisible until the moment it shattered. Cassian felt it constantly, and so did Lian. Cassian kept his promise. He did not touch Lion again, not in anger, not in possession, not even in comfort. He stayed distant, hands clasped behind his back, posture rigid whenever they shared a room. But distance did not quiet the jealousy. It only sharpened it. Cassian watched everything. The way Lion spoke softly to servants again, cautious but polite. The way guards straightened unconsciously when Lion passed. The way people looked at him, still gentle, still beautiful, still too easily loved. Each glance felt like a threat. They don't see the danger, Cassian thought. They don't see how the world takes what it wants. The fear clawed at his ribs. Leon noticed the change immediately. Cassian no longer ordered him, but the tension was worse. Cassian's silence pressed down like a storm cloud, heavy and unpredictable. One afternoon, Leon stopped walking. Cassian halted a step behind him. "Why are you always watching me?" Leon asked quietly. Cassian stiffened. "Because—" "No," Leon interrupted, turning to face him. His voice trembled, but his spine stayed straight. "Not because you're afraid for me, because you're afraid of losing control." Cassian's throat tightened. "Is there a difference?" "Yes," Leon said. "Fear for me would listen. Fear of losing control only grips tighter." Cassian said nothing. "You promised to try," Leon continued. "Trying means trusting me with my own life." Cassian's fists clenched. "I watched someone try to kill you." "And I watched you kill someone for me?" Lion replied. "Do you think that didn't change how I see you?" The words landed softly and destroyed him. Cassian looked away. "I don't want you to become something you can't come back from," Leon said. "Not for me." Cassian's voice was hoarse. "If I let go and something happens, I will not live as a prisoner just to spare your guilt," Lion said. Silence. Then Cassian nodded once. "Very well," he said. "I will give you space." Leon exhaled shakily. "Thank you." Cassian added quietly, "But I will be watching." Leon met his eyes. "That's not space." Cassian flinched. The true test came days later. The king summoned Lion alone. Cassian learned of it only after the doors closed. For the first time since their marriage, Cassian was not in the room. He stood outside the council chamber, jaw tight, every instinct screaming. He's alone. Anyone could. The doors remained closed. Minutes stretched into agony. Cassian's hand hovered near his sword. Trust him, he told himself. If you can't, you've already lost him. Inside, Lane stood before the king, hands folded, heart racing. You look thinner, King Albrecht said quietly. Lion didn't answer. I made a mistake, the king continued. I believed protection could be forced. Leon's voice was calm, but raw. Protection without choice is just another kind of violence. The king nodded. I would annul the marriage if you asked, he said. Lion's breath caught. Outside the door, Cassian felt something shift, an instinct so sharp it nearly drove him to break in. But he didn't. He stayed still. He waited. Inside, Leon closed his eyes. I won't ask, he said finally. Not yet. The doors opened. Cassian looked at Lion immediately, searching for fear, for injury, for anything wrong. Leon met his gaze steadily. I was safe, Lion said. The simple sentence struck Cassian harder than any blade. That night, they sat together for the first time without tension thick enough to choke on. No touching. No orders. Just space. I almost didn't trust you today, Cassian admitted quietly. It felt like tearing my own skin off. Leon looked at him. And yet you did. Cassian nodded. That mattered, Lion said. Cassian swallowed. I don't know how to love without guarding. Then let me teach you, Leon replied. Cassian's voice cracked. And if I fail, then we'll face it together, Lion said. But I won't disappear to make you feel safe. For the first time, Cassian didn't argue. He simply sat there, breathing. learning what it meant to loosen his grip without losing everything. Jealousy still lived in him. Fear still whispered. But now, so did choice. And choice, Cassian was beginning to understand, was far more terrifying than control. Chapter 8: The Shape of Devotion. By the time autumn arrived, the palace had learned to fear silence. Not the calm kind, but the careful, listening quiet that followed change. Cassian no longer hovered. That alone unsettled people more than his former cruelty ever had. He still watched Lion, yes, but now from a distance that hurt in a different way. His hands stayed clasped behind his back. His orders were fewer. His temper, tightly lashed. It was restraint born not of peace, but of effort. And effort, Cassian was learning, was exhausting. Leon changed too. The boy who once bowed until his spine ached now stood straighter. He spoke softly, but without apology. He began walking the palace gardens alone again, not defiantly, not recklessly, but with quiet ownership of his own steps. People noticed, and some resented it, especially those who had benefited from Cassian's fear. The accusation came during council. A minor lord rose, voice smooth, smile sharp. "The crown security has weakened," he said. "Since His Highness has softened." Eyes flicked toward Lion. Cassian's jaw tightened. The lord continued, "We have seen what happens when sentiment overrides strategy." The implication was clear. Leon was the weakness. Cassian felt the old instinct surge, hot, violent, familiar. End it. Silence him. Protect at all costs. But before Cassian could speak, Leon stepped forward. The room stilled. "With respect," Lion said calmly, "you mistake cruelty for strength." Cassian froze. Leon's hands were steady as he continued. "I have lived without power, without walls, without guards, and I survived not because I was feared, but because I was seen as human." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Cassian's heart thundered. "This palace," Leon said, eyes lifting to meet Cassian's for just a moment, "does not become safer when it tightens its grip. It becomes smaller." The Lord scoffed. "You presume much for someone who married into relevance." Cassian's fingers twitched. But Leon didn't look at Cassian. He looked at the room. "I did not ask for this marriage," Lion said evenly. "But I refuse to be used as proof that fear is necessary. If your authority depends on breaking others, then it deserves to be questioned." Silence fell like snow. Cassian felt something unfamiliar rise in his chest. Not panic, pride. After the council, Cassian found Leon alone in the courtyard. "You shouldn't have done that," Cassian said quietly. Leon turned. "I know." Cassian studied him. "They will come for you now. Politically, quietly." "I know," Leon repeated. Cassian's voice dropped. "Then why?" Lion met his gaze, steady, unafraid. "Because I won't disappear to make you feel strong," he said. "And because if I'm going to stand beside you, it will be as myself." Cassian exhaled slowly. The old Cassian would have reached out, claimed, caged, commanded. This Cassian only nodded. "I will not stop you," he said. Leon's expression softened. "That's all I wanted." That night, the fear returned. Cassian stood by the window, watching shadows move beyond the glass, mind spiraling with possibilities. Threats. Plots. Consequences. "They will try again," the voice whispered. "And next time, you might fail." Cassian pressed his palm to the stone wall until it ached. "You're thinking too loudly." Leon's voice came from behind him. Cassian turned. "You should be asleep." Leon crossed the room and sat beside him, not touching, just close enough to be felt. "You're afraid," Lion said. Cassian nodded once. "I don't want to become what I was," Cassian said. But every time someone looks at you like a weakness, I feel the urge to destroy them. Lion considered that. Devotion isn't the absence of fear, Lian said gently. It's choosing not to let fear decide. Cassian swallowed. And if my fear never leaves? Then let it sit beside you, Lian replied. Not in front of you. Cassian closed his eyes. Slowly, carefully, he reached out, not to grab, not to claim, just to rest his hand over Lion's. Lian didn't pull away. The touch was brief, reverent. For Cassian, it felt like stepping onto unfamiliar ground without armor. Terrifying and sacred. Later, alone again, Cassian realized something that left him breathless. He no longer wanted to own Lion. He wanted to be worthy of standing beside him. The difference frightened him more than obsession ever had, because possession demanded nothing but force. Devotion demanded change. Chapter 9. What it costs to be chosen. The betrayal did not come from the shadows. It came from the table. From a man Cassian had trusted since childhood. Lord Varos had been there when Cassian first learned how to hold a sword. He had praised discipline, rewarded obedience, encouraged fear as policy. Mercy, Varos used to say, is for those who can afford weakness. Cassian had believed him. Until now. The order arrived sealed with the king's crest. An invitation. Liam was to attend a provincial assembly as the crown's representative. Alone. Cassian knew immediately. This is a trap, he said. Lian read the letter carefully. It's legal. That doesn't mean it's safe. Lian looked up. You don't trust me to go? Cassian hesitated. That pause told Lion everything. I'm not asking for permission, Lion said. I'm asking for honesty. Cassian closed his eyes. If something happens to you, I will burn the world down. Leon's voice was steady. Then let me choose whether I walk into danger. Cassian's jaw clenched. And if I say no, then I go anyway, Lion replied. And you'll lose me. The threat was quiet, unavoidable. Cassian folded the letter. I will send guards. No, Lian said immediately. Discreet observers. No blades at my throat. Cassian met his eyes and nodded. The assembly hall smelled of incense and old wood. Lian stood at the center, calm on the surface, pulse racing beneath his skin. He spoke of reform, of stability, of strength built on trust. Some listened, others smiled too tightly. Varos watched from the edge, eyes cold. The moment came when the doors closed. Too suddenly. Guards stepped forward, too many. Leon's breath caught. Varos rose. You speak beautifully, Varos said. But you are not meant to shape the crown. Leon understood then. You planned this, he said quietly. Of course, Varos replied. The prince has grown sentimental. You are the cause. The guards advanced. Leon did not scream. He lifted his chin. Cassian will not forgive this. Varos laughed. Cassian will thank me, once he remembers who he was. Cassian felt it. The moment the connection snapped. He was in the council chamber when the messenger burst in, breathless. His Grace, Lion, he's been detained. Cassian moved before the man finished speaking. Steel sang. The old instinct roared. Kill them all. He mounted his horse, fury a living thing beneath his skin. But halfway to the assembly hall, he stopped, hands shaking on the reins. If you do this the old way, Lion's voice echoed in his mind, you will prove them right. Cassian turned back and made a different choice. Cassian arrived not with an army, but with evidence, documents, seals, witnesses. He strode into the hall, eyes burning. Release him, Cassian said. Varus sneered. You've grown soft. Cassian placed the papers on the table. You've grown careless. The king's crest stared back at Varus. Fake. Forged. Murmurs erupted. Cassian continued, voice cold and controlled. You used my name, my authority. You planned to disappear him quietly. Leon looked at Cassian, shock, hope, fear all tangled together. Varus reached for his sword. Cassian didn't. Guards seized Varus instead. The hall exploded into chaos. Leon was released. Cassian crossed the space between them slowly. Are you hurt? Cassian asked. Lion shook his head, eyes shining. You came? Yes, Cassian said. But not the way I wanted to. Leon smiled faintly. That's why it matters. Later, in the quiet aftermath, Cassian stood before Varus' cell. He could end it. No one would question it. Varus smiled through the bars. You've lost your edge. Cassian looked at him without hatred. I found my restraint, Cassian said. And it terrifies you? He turned away. That night, Leon found Cassian in the garden. You chose me, Lion said softly. Cassian nodded. I chose who I want to be. Leon stepped closer. This is what it costs, Lion said. To be chosen freely. Cassian reached out, slow, careful, and this time, when he touched Lion's hand, there was no fear, only trust. Chapter 10. Learning how to stay. The palace did not celebrate what happened. There were no announcements, no public praise. Some truths were too dangerous to be spoken aloud, but everyone felt it. Lord Varus was gone, disgraced, imprisoned, stripped of power. And Cassian, once feared for his cruelty, had ended him without blood. That frightened the court more than violence ever had. For Cassian, the aftermath was worse than the battle. When the danger was gone, what remained was silence and memory. He woke in the night with his hands shaking, seeing flashes of all the moments he had crossed lines, raised voices, bruised wrists, trapped breath. I could have become him, he thought. I almost did. Lion noticed. You don't sleep, Leon said one morning. Cassian stared at the cup of untouched tea in his hands. I don't know how. Leon hesitated, then sat across from him. You're afraid of yourself, Lion said gently. Cassian laughed without humor. I should be. Leon's eyes softened, but did not excuse him. You were cruel. Cassian flinched. You were controlling, Lion continued. You scared me. Cassian bowed his head. I know. But, Lion said quietly, you stopped. Cassian looked up. You didn't have to, Lion said. You could have kept going. No one would have stopped you. Cassian swallowed. I wanted to. Lion reached across the table, not to comfort, but to connect. That matters, Leon said. Change isn't erasing what you did, it's choosing not to repeat it. Cassian closed his eyes, steadying himself. Later that day, Cassian stood before the king. I won't rule the way you taught me, Cassian said. The king studied his son for a long moment. You would risk losing control of the court? The king asked. Cassian nodded. Yes. The king exhaled slowly. Then you will rule as something rarer. Cassian didn't answer. He was done ruling through fear. That night, Lion didn't sleep alone. He didn't climb into Cassian's bed. He simply sat beside him. Two bodies sharing space. No possession. No claim. Cassian's voice broke the quiet. I don't know how to hold you without hurting you. Leon looked at him. Then don't hold me? Cassian nodded. Minutes passed. Then Leon leaned his head against Cassian's shoulder. Cassian froze, every instinct screaming, but he didn't move. He breathed, and the moment stayed gentle. "I trust you," Lion whispered. Cassian felt the weight of it settle into his bones. "Stay," Leon said. Cassian answered without hesitation, "Always." The next morning, Cassian did something radical. He dismissed half his guard. He opened the palace gate. He allowed Lion to walk freely, without escort. The court whispered again, but this time, Cassian did not tighten his grip. He watched and waited. They stood together at the balcony as the sun set. "You could leave now," Cassian said suddenly. "No one would stop you." Leon considered that. Then he reached out, slowly, deliberately, and took Cassian's hand. "I'm not staying because I'm trapped." Cassian's breath hitched. "I'm staying because you learned how to let me go." Cassian closed his eyes, overwhelmed. For the first time in his life, he understood something deeper than possession. Love was not the act of holding on. It was the courage to stay open, even when you could be left behind. Chapter 11. When the world pushes back. Change never came quietly. The court adapted, slowly and reluctantly, but beyond the palace walls, resentment festered. The nobles who had thrived under fear now whispered of weakness. Provinces once ruled by Cassian's reputation began to test the limits of his restraint, and at the center of every rumor stood Lion. The farmer's son has softened the crown. The prince has been tamed. The palace is vulnerable. Cassian heard it all. And this time he did not reach for a blade. The rebellion began in the east, not with open war but refusal. Taxes withheld, orders ignored, banners lowered. A message arrived with no seal. "Come yourself if you dare." Cassian read it in silence. Lion stood beside him. "They want to provoke you." Cassian nodded. "They want the old me? And if you give it to them?" Leon asked. Cassian met his gaze. "Then everything we've built collapses." Leon placed a hand over the letter. "Then let's go together." Cassian's breath caught. "It won't be safe." Leon smiled faintly. "It never has been." The eastern province was tense, streets lined with silent onlookers. Cassian dismounted first. Then, deliberately he waited. Leon stepped down beside him. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Equal, visible, unhidden. The provincial lord approached, eyes sharp. "You bring no army," he said. "Only your pretty weakness." Cassian felt the familiar surge. But Lion spoke first. "You mistake gentleness for submission," Lion said calmly. "They are not the same." The lord scoffed. "You expect loyalty without fear?" "No," Cassian said firmly. "I expect accountability." Gasps followed. "You will pay what you owe," Cassian continued, "or you will stand trial, not by my sword, but by law." The lord laughed. "And if we refuse?" Cassian held his gaze. "Then you will answer to a united court." The bluff hung in the air. The crowd shifted. They had expected rage. They found resolve. That night, an assassin slipped through the camp. Cassian sensed it instantly. He reached for his sword and stopped. Lian woke to Cassian sitting upright, eyes sharp. "Stay here," Cassian whispered. "No," Lian said immediately. "I won't be hidden." Cassian hesitated, then nodded. The assassin lunged. Cassian moved, not to kill, but to disarm. Steel clashed. The man fell, weapon skidding across the dirt. Cassian held him down, breathing hard. "Do it," the assassin spat. "Show them who you really are." Cassian looked at Lion. Leon nodded once. Cassian released the man. "Take him," Cassian ordered the guards. "Alive." The assassin screamed in rage as he was dragged away. The camp watched and understood. At dawn, the province capitulated. No blood, no terror, just consequence. Lion stood beside Cassian as banners were raised again. You chose restraint, Lion said softly. Cassian exhaled. Because you were watching. Lion smiled. Because you were listening. Back at the palace, the court waited. Cassian stood before them, Lian at his side. I will not rule through fear, Cassian declared. If that costs me loyalty, I will earn it again. Silence followed. Then one noble bowed. Then another. Then the room followed. Lian felt Cassian's hand brush his, seeking reassurance, not possession. Lian gave it freely. That night, alone at last, Cassian rested his forehead against Lia's. I would have burned the world for you once, Cassian murmured. Lian replied softly, Now you're learning how to build one. Cassian closed his eyes. The world had pushed back, and they had not broken. Chapter 12. The Choice That Remains. Winter came softly. No war followed. No rebellion flared again. The kingdom settled into something unfamiliar, quiet not born of fear but of watchfulness, of learning. And in that quiet, the king grew ill. Cassian stood at his father's bedside as snow drifted past the windows. Lion stood just behind him, close enough to be felt. I made a promise once, the king said weakly, eyes flicking to Lion. To give you a good life partner. Lion lowered his head. You gave me hardship. The king smiled faintly. And choice, he said, even if it took too long. He looked at Cassian. You became what I feared you would be. Cassian's throat tightened. And then, the king continued, you became something better. The king's hand fell still. The crown passed quietly. Cassian's coronation was not lavish. No grand declarations. Just a simple vow. I will rule with restraint, Cassian said before the court. And I will not hide my heart to appear strong. The murmurs that followed were uncertain, but not hostile. Then Cassian did something no one expected. He turned to Lian. I was given you as a contract, Cassian said clearly. I treated you as an object, then as a weakness. Lian's breath caught. I stand here now, Cassian continued, voice steady. To choose you. Gasps filled the hall. Not as obligation, not as shield, but as my equal. Cassian knelt. Will you remain with me, freely? Silence stretched. Then Lion stepped forward. He lifted Cassian's chin, gently. I stayed when you learned to let go, Lion said. I stay because you see me. Cassian's eyes shone. Lian offered his hand. Cassian took it. Not possession. Partnership. Later, far from the court, Lion returned to the fields of his childhood. Cassian followed, not as a king, but as a man. The land was quiet, familiar. This is where I learned to endure, Lion said. Cassian knelt and pressed his hand into the soil. This is where you learn to live. Lian smiled. Stay with me, Cassian said again, not as command, but hope. Lian leaned into him. I already have. They did not erase the past. They acknowledged it. Cassian learned patience. Lian learned safety. Jealousy still whispered, but no longer ruled. Possessiveness softened into devotion. Angst gave way to trust. Years later, the kingdom would remember Cassian as a just ruler. But Cassian remembered something simpler. A boy who refused to disappear and taught a prince how to love without chains.